Are you talking now?
I'm not talking now. Now I'm talking now. But I wasn't talking now when you asked me if I was talking now.
No, I mean, did you start it?
I did start it. That's why I said I'm talking now.
Oh.
Clearly, you can see that. Alright, so here we go. Hopefully we went over this today, and you're seeing it tomorrow, which is today, which is the day you're watching it. So we're talking about expressing our functions here, or not necessarily functions. We're going to see if it's a function by using tables and graphs and mapping diagrams. So a good idea for you would be to pause it right now and try to answer number one. And then unpause it, and we'll go over it together. Ready? Pause. Okay. Hopefully you worked it out. So the first one, as a table, you just take your x and your y values, and you put them into the chart. You could probably do these in order by your x's, but whatever. I'm just going to go down the list. So 3, 1, -1, -2. There's one. That's your table. Second one, as a graph, you have 4 ordered pairs. You just plot them. So here's -2, 5, -1, 1, 3, 1, and -1, -2. Wait. That's not right. -1, -2. Okay. So there's our graph. There's no really discernible pattern here, so I wouldn't even try to connect these. Alright, the third thing is a mapping diagram. This is a lot like the table, except with a lot more arrows. So you still look at this as the left side being x, right side being y. And then we just take all the possible x values that we have over here. So we have -2. We have -1. We have -1 again, but we already wrote it. We're not going to write it again. And we have +3. So these are all the possible x values. And another word for that is the domain. All the x values. Then over here we list all the y values that we came up with. So we have 5, 1. Again, 1 shows up more than once. We only need to write it one time. And -2. And then we just make our connections. So -2 went to 5. -1 went to +1. -1 also went to -2. So we draw an arrow like that. And 3 went to 1. And since we didn't write it down before, all of our y values is called the, you got it, it's the range. So there's our 3 expressions of our data there. The last thing we'd ask ourselves is this a function?
No.
And the answer is no. Why is it no?
Because they can't repeat themselves.
Well, what can't repeat itself? The domain or the range?
Either.
No. Try again.
The x value.
The x values.
The domain.
The domain. Every x value can only have one y value, which means you can only have one arrow coming out of each of these for it to be a function. The other side doesn't matter. It's okay that 2 of them have a y value of 1, but because of this second purple arrow, this is not a function. Okay? Okay. Number 2. So again, pause it. Pause it. Okay. So, again, we graph it. We have 5, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, and 1, 3. Makes for a pretty boring little graph here. We can plot these out. So 5, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, and 1, 3. So our domain take all of our possible x values here, so 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Our y values, our domain, is just 3. So what does that mean? Is that for every number in our domain, they all go to 3. So is this right here a function? Well, hopefully you said yes. Each number in our domain only goes to one value, or how do I want to say that? I didn't say that right. Each number in the domain only has one y value that goes with it. None of these repeat, so it's all good. Also, if we were to assume, we don't want to assume, but we can assume for the sake of this, that this just goes in that fashion. We'd choose our vertical line test. We'd see, is there anywhere that we could draw a vertical line that would go over this relationship more than once? And we'd say, nope. Okay, there you go, 1 and 2. All right, number 3, give the domain and range of each of these. Tell whether it is a function. So let's do these one by one. So try number 3, pause it. Okay. What is the domain? Well, it goes from 0, and this line goes all the way to 4. So you could put this as the domain is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Or you could also put that x has to be between 0, that's a 0, and x has to be less than or equal to 4. So either of those works. Okay, how about the range? Well, the range pretty much goes the same exact way. It goes from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So basically, we're just taking the same thing. Hold on, I'm going to get fancy with this. No, oh, seriously? Maybe I'm not getting fancy with this. All right. So we take the same thing. Oh man, I'm messing this up so bad. You're supposed to right click. Why are you not right clicking? Ha 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 ha. So we're just going to take the same thing, except now instead of x, we say this has got to be y in the middle. Alright? So is this a function? Well, if we check, every domain has one value in the range. So we say yes. The explanation, I just said it. We take our vertical line test. It passes everywhere on our function here. Okay? How about number 4? Let's take a second, try that one while I make this smaller. Alright, so we say the domain. The domain is basically just these x values here, which is just 8 and 9. And we can put our happy curly braces around that. Our range is all these values here. Let's do it in purple. So, that's some bad curly braces. -3, -4, -6, -9. Okay. Probably should have done that in order from least to greatest, but oh well. Is this a function? Well, we look here, we say, well, 8 goes to both -3 and -4. So it's not 1-to-1 here. That's not, this isn't going to work. So this is not a function. Okay? This was, yes, a function. Everything got moved up one. All right, and one more, number 5. Number 5. So our domain, hopefully we're getting the hang of this a little bit. We take all of our different x values. So we have 0, we have 1, and we have 2. Now 1 and 2 repeat themselves, but you only have to write it down one time. So domain to 0, 1, and 2. The range. Why am I so bad at that? Okay, the range is just all the numbers from 4 through 8. So again, either way you wanted to write this, you could put the y has to be between 4 and 8. That works too. But we haven't really done inequalities yet, so I'm not going to stress that too much here. Is this a function? Well, we could even draw our arrows here. We'd say 0 goes to 6, 1 goes to 4, but 1 also goes to 7. So right there, even without checking 2, we know this isn't a function because this domain value, this 1 here, goes to 2 different y values. So that immediately knocks out its functional and functionality. Can I use functionality like that? He's not listening. Alright, so 2 doesn't work either because 2 tries to go to 5 and 8. Suddenly I've made this look like a mess. I'm going to get rid of all that. You get the idea. So this is not a function. No. Why not? Because the x values go to more than one y value. Alright? Hopefully you learned something. Or you already knew it and you just wanted to come to see smiley faces. Smiley faces with eyebrows like that. And a nose. And a big old grin. And tongue hanging out. Alright. Good night. Or good morning. Whatever.